OC.
Yes, sir. If I may.
Yes,
Mayor
sir.
Moore, members of City Council, my name is O.C. Vest. I'm with Southridge Park, and here tonight representing Mesa Real Estate and B29. I've been talking to the city manager Sullivan over the last few days, and even last week, about the impact fee ordinance, the capital improvement plan that it's based on, and all the land use assumptions it's based on. And we have some questions that we would like to have some time to vet the answers for. Um, there are large tracts of land involved, and the CIP is probably going to be your capital improvement plan for the next 5 years. Be my guess. That's generally how it runs. And so the designation of those roadways, water lines, wastewater lines are very important to the development community as we all try to project our best idea of what improvements will actually be needed and be constructed in the next 10 years. And that way we get the fees right. And you know, the capital improvement plan and the land use plan is the basis for the impact fees. And so we just want to have the opportunity to review that to make sure that we get all that information correct and it's lining up with our development expectations on properties that Mesa and B29 control.
So, are you wanting time to either digest or comment back on the fee schedule? Is that what it is?
Basically, it's the capital improvement plan, Mr.
Okay.
Mayor. I don't think we have questions about the comprehensive plan that was recently passed. And things like that. I think all those have been very solid documents. We don't expect this not to be a solid document. We just haven't had time to review it yet.
Gotcha.
We got it on Friday, and we've been looking at it all through the weekend and yesterday. And we have some questions, and there may be a really good reason why certain things were done. We just want to make sure we get it right. We're going to live with it for the next 5 years. I think it mainly deserves some special attention.
Okay. Are there any other comments about the impact fees? Any from council? No. All right, I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing at 6:41.
I'll make motion to close the hearing.
And I'll second.
Second, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Item D, consideration of an action on a resolution of the City Council of Gainesville, Texas, authorizing the city manager to purchase a sanitary sewer easement and temporary construction easement for an amount not to exceed $19,080 from Walmart Stores, Inc. from 185-2 for the Pecan Creek Sewer Replacement Project, authorizing the city manager to execute all documents necessary and providing an effective date.
Good evening. This is for the concrete sewer line. I think there's going to be 5 easements total for this. One we've already discussed. It was a donated land over just to the south of Home Depot. This is the next step from Walmart to run that. It's like 11,000 linear feet of 24 and 30-inch line up Pecan Creek to serve the northern portions of the municipality as well as the industrial park. This is something that's been in the CIP for a number of years, and we're moving forward with it. And this is the easement from Walmart to be able to install permanent easement and then temporary construction easement. And staff recommends approval and be happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Any questions? All right. Entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Second, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously.
Mayor,
Yes.
I would like to say that we would like to thank Walmart for working with us. A lot of times larger corporations, they sort of ignore you and make you go through condemnation. And they worked with us, got through this process. So I would like to extend my thanks out to them for that.
Appreciate that. Thanks, Barry. Item E, consideration of an action on a resolution of the City Council of City of Gainesville, Texas, accepting the impact fee financial audit for the fiscal year ended September 30th, 2025, finding that the audit satisfies the requirement of Chapter 395 of the Texas Local Government Code and providing an effective date. And this is just accepting the audit, correct?
Yes, you're not doing anything except accepting the audit.
Okay.
And so we won't have to do that again. Like I said, that was done for every year of the that we've been collecting impact fees ending ending fiscal year 2025.
Okay.
Because we just didn't, it wasn't specific, so it just made sense to finish out the year.
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right. Have a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Second, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Item F, consideration of an action on an ordinance of the City of Gainesville, Texas, repealing and replacing Appendix C, impact fees regulations of the Code of Ordinances, adopting updated land use assumptions and updated capital improvement plans pursuant to Chapter 395 of the Texas Local Government Code, establishing revised impact fee regulations for water, wastewater, roadway, and drainage facilities, providing for the establishment and duties of the Capital Improvements Advisory Committee, adopting impact fees, providing for an assessment, collection, administration, and refund of impact fees, providing for severability, providing for a repeal of conflicting ordinances, providing for codification, providing for publication, and providing an effective date. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. I'm
Good evening.
Mason Shove. I'm with Kimley Horn, or the consultant, engineering consultants who performed the study for the water, wastewater, and roadway impact fees, and here to just discuss a little bit of the results and the resulting recommendation from CIC on a collection rate for those 3 studies. Here, go to the next slide. So yeah, we're gonna quickly go through the first bits, just a little bit of a summary of what we talked about with the CIC and Council 101 we had a few months back. Just a quick refresher on those, as well for members of the public to understand some of the assumptions that are happening behind the scenes and the full calculation of the maximum assessable fee that the city can adopt according to Chapter 395. So again, reminder on roadway service areas. For the roadway side, we split it up into 2 different service areas due to Chapter 395. It's only limited to a 6-mile trip length, according to Chapter 395. So we have to divide it into 2 different areas. So this is the same as the last study. Everything north of US 82 is service area A, and everything south is service area B. So if we're talking about those service areas for roadway, this is what we're referring to. And then water and wastewater have the same service area, so it's a mixture of the current CCN boundaries for the city of Gainesville, who are receiving water and sewer through y'all. It's consistent with the master plan and incorporates that part of the CCN plus parts of the ETJ as well. So you can see that what that service area looks like for water and wastewater, they're identical service areas. So to talk about the land use assumptions, again, when we talk about land use assumptions, it goes for the next 10 years. So when we're looking at what we can actually recoup back in costs, it's only for the next 10 years of growth that we're actually looking at. So what we did, and we worked with staff, and especially with the comprehensive plan and the adopted plans that we have. So previously this year, the master plans for water and wastewater were both adopted. The Gainesville comprehensive plan was adopted the other year as well. And all the land uses are consistent between all of these plans in the sense of what's happening in the next 5, 10, and beyond years, which parcels, what type of land use they're going to be built as. All of that is consistent between the plans. We worked with city staff to make sure that we're not adopting plans that are not consistent between these plans, to make sure that the growth that we've been projecting in other adopted plans is the same for the impact fees as well. So they are, and I'll go through that briefly here in the next one. So again, we're basing everything off of the future land use plan, which is adopted in the comprehensive plan, and all of the parcels that we're identifying for the next 10 years would be used from the future land use plan. Next one. So these are the growth areas that we specifically looked at that were identified in the master plans for the water and wastewater master plans. But these are the specific growth areas that were identified to come up with these numbers. How many units, how much square footage of non-residential uses are coming in. All this is all based off of the future land use plan, but these are the specific areas that were identified that have known development, that are working with developers currently, and that we have a good projection of what's actually going to happen over the next 10 years. So this is our growth rate. So that we're assuming, again, consistent between all of our plans, a little bit more of an extensive growth for the next 5 years, just because we know exactly what's coming in over the next 5 years. There are certain developments that are specifically coming in that are providing for that growth, that 5%. And then from the 5 to 10 year period, we're projecting just slightly less a little less known what's happening in the 5 to 10 year, but we do have some large developments that are in there. And then anything past 2035 or that 10-year period is more consistent with the average that we've seen in Gainesville for the last 10 years. So keeping consistent again with all the plans that we've seen. So to kind of go into a little bit of the calculations, again, we talked about this briefly at our 101, but when we talk about our growth, we have to convert it to a unit that impact fees actually talks to. So for roadway, it's vehicle miles. So that's the amount of capacity a single trip of a certain land use takes on a road. It's hard to quantify or picture in your head, but it's a vehicle mile for roadway. So for a single family home, they take 2.79 vehicle miles per every home. So you multiply it by how many trips it takes on average and the trip length it has. So for shopping centers, it's a little bit different. It's per 1,000 square feet, 3.26 trips, and you multiply it by their average trip length, which these are all identified from national sources for trip generation, which is typically used, and a household travel survey that provides trip lengths for average uses. So those are the assumptions we've been making. So that's, and on the roadway side, we have to convert it to a vehicle mile. And these are those conversions for these two land uses. So converting all those land uses we saw on those maps with the future land use plan, all those growth areas, we have to look at just the next 10 years according to Chapter 395. And this summarizes how many units we're assuming for residential and non-residential uses over the next 10 years in each service area. Reminder, service area A is north of US 82. Everything south is service area B. And this is only within the city limits. These aren't anything, this is nothing in the ETJ on the roadway side. So we convert all those to a vehicle mile, so it's about 6,000 vehicle miles in service area A over the next 10 years, and about almost 4,500 in service area B. So just those conversions are happening of all that math I showed you on the previous one, just with all the different land use types that we have assumed. On the water and wastewater side, it's a little different. It's water meter size. So in Gainesville, a single family home has a meter that's 5/8 by 3/4, and a shopping center, if you're on average, it obviously varies depending on if it's a very large shopping center or not, but typically a 2-inch meter is seen at shopping center. So it's not vehicle miles, it's per single family equivalent. So the single family equivalent for Gainesville is a 5/8 by 3/4 inch and the capacity it holds. And a 2-inch meter has a conversion of how much capacity it holds compared to a single family residence. So again, this is kind of the conversion. A shopping center that's a 2-inch is roughly 8 5/8 by 3/4 inch meters in capacity, and so that's our conversion. So if you were to adopt, $100 for a 3/4 inch 5/8 by 3/4 inch meter, the 2-inch meter would be 8 times that. It would be $800. So these are the land uses for water, wastewater. A little different how we quantify them. Roadway side, we need to know what the square footage is, but for water and wastewater, just the amount of connections. So single family, multifamily, and what's those developments. So these are the amount of acres that we have of all these based from the comp plan. So to talk about the projects, so for roadway, we started with the master thoroughfare plan that's been adopted. And we have all these projects that are highlighted in blue and red are different types of projects that are widening. So if they have capacity still capable in like if it's a 2-lane road today, but on the thoroughfare plan it says it's a 4-lane divided road that has capacity, so it'd be a widening project. And then we also have a couple of intersection projects in there for signals that improve capacity at those. So we use the universe of projects approach that includes all the projects that are pretty much on the thoroughfare plan in the city that aren't fully built out to their ultimate configuration, which is almost every thoroughfare in the city. And as you can tell, if you were to build out your entire thoroughfare plan that are in the city limits, you can tell it's very costly if you were to actually build out the full amount. This isn't the full amount that we're going to talk about that's actually impact fee eligible, but yeah, just under 200 million for service area A and 550 million for service area B. Obviously, we don't have that much money to build all these roads over the next 10 years, which we'll kind of go through that here in a second. So this is the calculation. So we talk about the max fee. We talk about all these things coming together. So we have our land use assumptions. So quantifying how many service units we're bringing into the city over the next 10 years. So it's just a simple equation really at the bottom. It's the total dollars of impact fee eligible money. So for service area A, it's just over 13 million. So out of all that money that we were seeing before, only 13 million is actually related to the growth that's happening over the next 10 years. So you divide those two and you get $1 per vehicle mile And to convert that to a single family home, you have to multiply how many vehicle miles that single family home has. So it's about 2,174 per vehicle mile in service area A, which equates to about $6,000 per single family home. On water, very similarly, we're looking at the next 10 years of growth, but we're doing the average flow rate of what's actually being used here in the city. And then we project that out to how much capacity that is for a single family equivalency. So that's the 5/8 by 3/4 inch. So over the next 10 years, we're seeing about 20,000 single family equivalents of capacity on the water side. And the water master plan really identified most of these projects that are on the CIP for the impact fees as well. Anything that is related to capacity and building out the system that has been adopted previously this year. So these are the projects that they have identified in the 5 and 10 year, which account for all of them. Similarly to roadway, again, it's the dollars that are impact fee eligible over the next 10 years. So that's about 129 million. And you divide it by those single family equivalents over the next 10 years of growth, gets you about $6,466 per single family equivalent. So a single family home or a 5/8 by 3/4 inch meter would have that as a max fee. Same on wastewater. We're looking at the same 10 years of growth. It's about 7,700 single family equivalents that we're projecting over the next 10 years. And then same equation on the next slide. Or the projects, yeah. The projects, again, these are from the master plan for any capacity related infrastructure that's been identified. And then, yeah, we get the same equation. We have about just under 10 million of recoverable costs over the next 10 years for the wastewater side. You divide it by those 10-year growths of single family equivalents. So you get about $1,243 per single family equivalent. All right. I zoomed through all that. And now we're going to talk about more of the collection stuff. Any questions so far? Okay. So the very left is the maximum fee so Kimley Horn, we help calculate this maximum fee. That's the maximum fee that can be collected based off of Chapter 395, and that the city can technically adopt up to that max. So on the left, that's how much it would be per single family home, or single family home that has a 5/8 by 3/4 inch meter. So the roadway side is 8933. That's in service area. I think that's in service area A, B. And then water is 6466, and then wastewater is 1243. So you can see what the max fee was back in 2021. We put that as a reference, and then what you're actually currently collecting is on the very right. So we're actually the 40% of the 2021 max is what you're currently assessing in today's numbers. But as you can see, costs have increased a lot. A lot more things have happened in the last 5 years. So this is kind of the same information, just in a table format. So we're here to present the maximum fee. So you can see that first column is if you were to adopt the maximum fee, that's how much it would cost per single family home. Obviously, it varies a little bit. It depends on if it's in roadway service area A or B. We did discuss this with CIAC, and they did provide a recommendation, that second row there, at 80% of water, 100% of the wastewater, and then 80% of service area A, which it'll match between both service areas. So we'd collect the same between A and B for that option. We did provide a couple options to CIAC. They deliberated for a while and decided that was their recommendation to council, that 80%, that second column there, which is a total of $11,267 per home in impact fees. And you can see that current rates, it's only about $4,232 per home. And this is just to show what other cities near you and other adjacent cities are currently collecting for their impact fees. I think we have a couple of little bubbles. Yeah, there we go. So on the very right, that's what Gainesville is currently assessing for a single family home. Compared to these other cities, we have Sherman, Sanger. We put those other options that we did provide to CISA in this as well. We have Sanger, Pilot Point, Denison, Decatur, and Denton are on the very left. So you can see there's some. And then that yellow box is where the maximum fee would be if you adopted 100% of every service area. So still under what Decatur and Denton are doing. But CIC's recommendation, you want to do the next one? Oh, yeah, one more. CIC recommendation is that middle one. So CIC really wanted to try to stay competitive between all the adjacent cities, but kind of stay in the middle to not discourage any growth, but also have fees that are going to pay for some of the infrastructure that's needed from all these master plans. And one thing to know on Pilot Point as well, they're currently adopting theirs, which their maximum fee is up towards the Denton Decatur range. So just an FYI. Any questions? I know we blew through that pretty quick.
So, is this one we need to do tonight, Barry?
It is one we need to do tonight. If y'all don't want to change the rate, we still need the ordinance passed. And you say pass the ordinance except go with no change to the current fees. Because if you do that, we can look at it again. Like if we do this again, we'll have to put notice out. So at a future meeting, y'all would have to tell us to put notice out again, and we'd have to wait 30 days. And then we could have another hearing and do this again if you wanted to go up. But right now, for the last 2 weeks, we have not been charging impact fees because we hit our 5-year limit going through this. So we need at least at minimum, if you want to talk with OC and the developers that he works with, tonight we still need to pass the ordinance, but amend it to go with no change at this time. Just keep the current, just update the ordinance and keep the current rates. And then we can do this again, and we'll have to call a public hearing 30 days and then move forward.
Can we see the recommendations again? And
Yeah.
And you said the CIC made a go back.
Yeah, that second line, the 80% of water and then 80% of roadway service are A. They recommended wastewater to be 100% because the current rate, it actually went down. So you can see that the maximum, we are only doing 40% as $12.69 that we're currently collecting. The city has put a lot of money into the sewer infrastructure over the last
That's
couple
one
years.
thing I would like
Yeah.
to point out. Can you go back a slide?
Yeah, you can see the sewer the sewer differences are.
Yeah, the sewer differences. I want to show how big that is, and the sewer difference is the brownish box to the top.
Okay.
I want to show y'all the difference. Our maximum that we could get back in 2021 was about 3,200. That has dropped to the maximum we can get to around 1,200. That's because of the $15.5 million we invested south of town, the $7.5 million for concrete that we're currently working on, and what we're doing up and down I-35 on the northern portion of that phase 2 of I-35, which that was about 17.6. That was mixed utilities, but it was still a huge impact on that. So what I want to show is that the importance here is we are working on our plans. We are implementing what we need to implement. And some of the big things is like, well, some people say, well, you waived it for a few people. Well, we waived the fee, but then they paid us in lieu. What they paid us in lieu was to go towards the sewer. Because right now, for them to develop, we needed to build this. The most economical way was to build a pipe that would last at least 25 years and not just barely go up for one or two things that we're developing. So what they said is, you can take all the money, you can put it towards a sewer, and we can do the full size that'll last 25 plus years, and it made it more economical. And so that worked out for 2 apartment houses as well as Liberty Point, getting all of that. Even though like Liberty Point's going to take 10 years to develop, they paid us that money up front and allowed us to move forward with doing these sewer projects. So that is the most important thing, I think, is to show that the city's been following the plan.
Yeah. And that's with the collected dollars that the audit was also showing, that there's money being invested towards this infrastructure. So really the goal of impact fees is to either have the development community help with that infrastructure or build it up front, and really just, getting these pipes and water lines all built, or the roads built to what they need to be.
So can we go back to the slide we were looking at before? There you go. So the CIEC recommendation is
Yeah, it was kind of a blended between option 1 and 2.
It's $11,267.
so I see option 2 down there shows 60% max on water. And what is the match for roadway? Oh, so
Yeah, it's
service
just it would
area.
be the percentage of the other service. So they would be flat. So if someone built a community north or south of US 82, they would pay the same fee per single family home.
Gotcha.
In general, yeah. Some cities do vary, but a lot of cities, out of more of a easier to assess the fees, they like having
Got
a
you.
flat rate.
Right.
So these are fees that residents are currently paying in their water bill?
No, this is all
New
developer. The development community would pay. The development would come in and pay this up front.
It's when they pull
as
a permit,
plat, yeah.
they pay for it when they pull a permit, or if you make a deal with them in advance, you can have it funded that way as well.
These are fees so that
So
you that have an existing home don't pay the fees
Correct.
for somebody a new
Yeah,
development.
this would be assessed to the development that we're anticipating over the next 10 years. Yeah.
But the developer typically passes that on to. the
Oh, of
buyer.
course, yeah, it goes on to the
Ultimately,
right.
Yes.
But
So,
currently, we're charging $4,232.
The bottom
That
line.
bottom
the
number.
bottom.
and that's on their projected development?
Well, that's just what they have to pay. That's what we currently charge. If you come and pull a permit for a house, part of your permitting fee, you do a permitting fee for your building, and then there's an impact fee added to it, and that comes up just the impact fee alone to $42.32.
You know, I'm not opposed to an increase, but for as far as voting, what kind of increase, I for sure would like more time to digest all this and give it more meditation.
If y'all want to do that, once again, I would still request that you pass the ordinance and adopt the plan, adopt the ordinance, but without any fee increases.
What if
Because
we went
you
with option
increase it
2?
by 1 penny, you can't do it again for 3 years.
What if we went with
Yes.
option 2? I mean, because we have to keep up, right, with markets around us, and yes, yes,
But if we vote for option 2 tonight, that locks us in, you said, for 3 years. So there couldn't be any
So-
changes for 3 years?
Yes. Well, you can go down.
Yeah, you can go
just
down,
can't
yeah.
go up.
Yeah. So yeah, that's happened in a few other cities as well. That the growth the chapter 395 outlines that you can't update it until 3 years out as an increase. That changed this last year to actually give the development community more time. So the city can't just change it on a whim. So 3 years, you're locked into at least that rate or lower. Chapter 395 is updated a lot to have a lot more public outreach up front. So you have to put the report publicly available 90 days before the public hearing and advertise all these things before and do the audit. So the audit is a new thing this time around. So this is really, I think the development community was providing a lot to the state, and that made it into the bill this last year.
So the current rate we're charging today has been in place for how many years?
5.
5
5
years.
years? I like option 2.
Yeah, I do too.
When it was adopted 5 years ago, was it relatively similar to what had been in place, or was it a big
It was all
increase?
brand new.
It was brand new. We never had impact fees
Yeah.
prior.
Yeah, and again, the percentages. So this was at 40% of the max. So y'all only put 40% of what it actually could have been. Again, that was 5 years ago what was happening in the city.
So if we adopted option 2, where does that fall in the grid of all the competitive cities?
Yeah.
Where does that throw us at relative
Yeah.
to them?
Do you want to go to the last slide?
Can you do that?
Yeah.
Or not?
Yep. Yeah, option 2 is the yellow one on the right. So it's between Pilot Point's old study, which they're about to update, and they're going to be on the very far left. Sanger you just be just above what
Above
Sanger is
Sanger.
currently adopting per single family home. You'd be a little bit more than what Sherman is. Yeah, I guess Sanger's the closest one.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, we're showing the other ones up in
So
north.
if we waited
Texas.
on a rate, we would be pushing out what, like 45 days at the earliest turnaround. They have to have 30 days.
Yes.
To vote on it, and then collecting no impact fees for that time period
No,
No.
if you approve it tonight
with no changes.
with
With
no, approve the ordinance, but with no changes in fees, you're kicking it out about 45 days. If y'all go with the
One of them.
option, any of them, we'll start doing that in 10 days.
And it would affect things that are currently in development, but they haven't pulled permits yet. So any future permit of
Any future person.
that, even
Yeah.
if the development's already started.
Yes. Yeah, after the typically do you final plat, correct, on yours? You
Excuse
guys assess the fee at final plat, correct?
No, we do it at permit.
At permit, okay. Yeah.
I still like option 2. I'm just one of these guys, why should we leave money on the table? When everyone else out there is in that range, we know growth is coming to us. We've got to pay for this stuff. We're going to have to bite the bullet at some point.
So,
We've been charging 5-year-old data basically at this point. So we're not in the ballgame, folks. I'm sorry.
so why not go with the CIAC recommendation?
Well, that's if you want to jump all the way up there. There's not that much spread. Wasn't it about $1,500?
Yeah.
700.
About 700.
About
Yeah.
700?
Yeah, they did a pretty much right in the middle between option 1 and option 2.
And we could vote on option 2 tonight. We could kick the can 45 days down the road, and we'll probably vote on option 2 in 45 days. I'd bet $1 would probably still be in the same spot. But my opinion, I'm comfortable with continuing the ordinance and doing it as soon as possible. Don't want to kick the can too far down the road for sure, but just more time to get some input from those affected by it.
If we vote on a fee tonight, I'd be with the recommendation, the CIAC recommendation.
I will support that
But
because it's so close.
How hard is it to lower it once we put that in effect? You said it can go down, just not up.
Yeah, that can go pretty immediately. Yeah, it would just be updating the ordinance, so it would have to go through council again. But after that would be the effective date of that ordinance.
Again, it's setting the max, but not where
Yeah.
we have to be.
And that
No,
max is
no.
determined
Tonight we will show the max, but whatever you adopt as far as the fee, it's in there. The fee, if you go with the CIAC recommendation, which is in the ordinance now, that would go. If you said, "Hey, we want to go with option 2," then we want to approve the ordinance with option 2. Then those numbers would go in the ordinance, and that's what would be implemented. And then, so
So just to review that, the CIEC recommendation is ready to go tonight.
Any of these.
any of them, all you
Okay.
have to do is tell me pass the ordinance, and you tell me which option, and that's
Okay.
the one that goes in the ordinance.
with me, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of questions and discussions. I feel like maybe we need more time to think. I don't know why we would rush into a choice, but
Once again, it's 45 days. If you want 45 days more, my only ask is you pass the ordinance tonight, and if you don't want to make a decision, just say update the ordinance, but keep the current rates, and then we can come back, and at the next meeting, I'll have Diana put another public hearing on the agenda, and then from the public hearing, then we move forward, and that gives OC time to meet with staff, and we can go through that. Gives y'all time to get questions answered, to get through y'all's head. But tonight something needs to be passed, or we're not going to be getting anything for until y'all pass something.
You mentioned y'all had been charging for 2 weeks. Are those just on pause until the
Yes.
Okay, so it's not like the city's forgoing those fees or anything.
Oh yeah, we're foregoing them. We've had one permit. I mean, because most of our permits are people that we've had agreements with that they paid everything up front, so
But
it's not a
foregoing
big
them
deal. But
until the ordinance is passed.
Mhm.
Okay,
but I would rather not forego the money.
He doesn't want to forgo.
sure.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Projected in
I think we
budget
just-
for sure. And I know this would affect development for sure, but that's a lot of that increase is just going to get passed on to the person renting the space or buying the house or whatever. So I for sure just want to get consider that as well. Want growth, don't want growth to become stagnant. Want to be mindful of the person that the cost is going to get passed on to.
But you also don't want runaway growth.
For sure.
Any other discussion?
I'd like to make a motion to continue the ordinance.
We'll suspend the charter.
Yeah, we'll have to make a motion to suspend the charter.
I'll make a motion to suspend.
Second.
Second, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. I'd entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to reenact our current impact fee.
Approve the ordinance with our current fees.
Yes.
Approve the
Ordin-
ordinance
Yep.
that with our current fees.
For how long do we
For
need
how
to say?
long?
At next meeting, y'all will be voting to put this back on the agenda for a public
Okay.
hearing and move forward.
All right.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure we get the motion correctly.
Can I attach an amendment to my motion that, with the understanding that we will continue this process?
Can you just
as
continue to?
quickly as possible?
Yes.
Okay. So I have a motion. Did you have that written down?
I'll second.
I have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. There you go, OC.
I promise we'll work diligently. We've already begun.
All right.
Great.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
And we appreciate you being here for the hearing tonight, by the way. Thank you.
Well, it's always my pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
With you all. Like I say, we may come back, 2 weeks later and nothing changes.
Sure.
But we just think it's worthwhile to take the opportunity to make sure.
Well, we appreciate it. Thank
It's
you.
a valued partnership.
Yes, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Item G, consideration of an action on a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign change orders number 1 and 2 with S-CO Incorporated for the BNSF utility relocation project.
This is the BNSF, obviously the utility relocations. When we got the original easements from BNSF, they changed after we did the design and the bidding of it. So this is for additional quantities on this project for additional pipe, casing, and cut and cap. It's $41,000 for the change order on this. So we're still well under what we thought we would be spending on this project. Staff recommends approval, so we can go ahead and move forward with it.
Awesome. Thanks, sir.
I would like to point out when we've been working closely with BNSF on this and GAF. We've been working they have, we swapped easements with them, and before we got all the paperwork done, they allowed us to go ahead and start working. So once again, the business community stepping up and helping us, and I'd like to point that out, that we appreciate GAF. And like with these change orders, I just want to make it really clear. BNSF is, they told us, hey, you have to have this because it's their standard in our contract with them that we have to have everything moved in 30 days. And we said, well, where do you want us to move it? They're like, we'll get back with you. And then they are moving pretty quickly. And just like anything else, they got their plans. They gave us those plans. We designed to them. Then when they get out on site, you always find a few little things that are different from the engineers see. And so they just had to move it over a little bit. Well, that means we have to have couple of more sticks of pipe and a little bit further directional drilling. And so with that, I just want to point out that we're all working together. We're trying to move fast on this, and because we're trying to coordinate it with them with us and us with them. So Alan's been keeping up with this. He's been doing a great job, and when something happens, he's just Johnny on the spot getting this. We got this on the agenda in very short order, but once again, staff does recommend for it. It's just one of those things we can't control for because we planned for what plans we were given, and when it changed, we had to change with it. And by all the rules and what we signed with that company, we're required to do that.
Sure.
And just FYI, there probably will be another one before this is over. So everybody's aware. There's absolutely always a change
There's
order.
always a change order.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So,
Any further discussion? I entertain motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll
Motion.
second.
Motion and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Item H, discussion on Noah's Ark funding and facilities.
As everyone knows, we've been working with Noah's Ark to get to find a location for their new facility. And when we've discussed this, I think sometimes the public maybe has gotten a misconception that of if council supports or not supports Noah's Ark. And I just wanted to bring it to everybody's attention, what we actually do for Noah's Ark and how we're going to continue working with Noah's Ark and what we're currently doing, to see when we have these discussions about locations and different things that this council wholeheartedly has supported Noah's Ark. And this is just the numbers from fiscal year 2025. It's the most recent one. Currently, what we do, we've agreed to pay them $1,100 a month. Just no matter what happens, we pay them that much. I'm going to skip over to electric expensive. That was around $11,000, and then for our water, sewer, and solid waste to the city, that's about $6,000. Then we've also agreed to pay them $150 per animal. You know, it was one of those things. We have a great relationship, but where's accountability? Where is that? How can we agree upon that? Well, hey, we're going to pay you $150 per animal that we take to you. So that equated in 2025 to about $9,600, or excuse me, $96,000. And overall, we've paid them $126,000 in 2025. And I just wanted everybody to make sure they understood that we support the organization, and we might be talking about maybe one location being better than another, and is it the right location? But I just wanted everybody to know that we do support the organization, and they are a great asset to the city. We could not run a shelter at this cost ourselves, but I just want to, so we do have a true partnership, and we want to continue doing that as we find a new location for Noah's Ark and they build their building.
But this is what it costs the taxpayers for this facility here.
For operation.
Right. This does not count on what they raised internally for their.
That is correct.
Right. Okay.
And just let everybody know, we own the facility and the ground that the facility is on now. And we also cover insurance and different things of that sort as well. And so,
is there a cost to that, or is that just kind of rolled in our?
That's rolled in.
Okay.
We rolled that in.
Okay.
And so they're just, that asset is covered. And so I just wanted everybody to know those numbers and
Appreciate
how
that.
we work
Good to
with
share
each
that.
other.
Any questions about this presentation? No. Barry, thank you for bringing this to us. It's important to know.
Thank you.
All right. If no other discussion, it is 7:22. We will go into executive session. We're going to adjourn into closed executive session in compliance with Vernon, Texas Code, Government Chapter 551, to discuss the following: real property, Hancock Street, north of Highway 82.
ponds up on that hill, all that stuff, you know? I said,
There you go. I paid full price. I'll still wear it next year. All right. It is 7:33. We reconvene out of executive session with no items to address, and so we are adjourned. See you in August.
Don't remind me, that's the first week of spring.
That's coming up quick.
Yes.